Good evening. Very happy to be here, back at LLF this year. Thank you to the organizers and Rasi for inviting us. This evening, I would like to read from you from my collection of poetry, Unexpectedly. And I want to read a somewhat ambitious poem called In Extremis, March 2020 to July 2022. It is a long poem in 4 cantos, and it strives to capture and construct the lives, times, spaces, moods, and voices of Sri Lanka during the period March 2020 to July 22, obviously. The stretch of time when we in Sri Lanka were battling the polycrisis of the COVID pandemic, of economic freefall, of climate change, political crisis and revolts, and other existential transformations, and while I myself was mitigating life-threatening disease. So, without much ado, I used to think that we lived in an age of neoliberal excess, but that was before this existential regress, this stress, this distress of a malevolent virus, of a political diasis, of an economic hiatus, of a climate problematic, of a carcinogenic cyst, culminating in this postmodern extremis, if one can call it this. I mean, for us, the privileged of our genus, there was an endless abundance of callous consumption, or so we thought. Now, during this soundless night, during this cessation of life, during this epoch of pestilence, I hear the basso billowing of the ocean, and my abdomen quakes and quivers when I think of the quicksands of the times to come. For the past has spent itself, expired, unable to become the future, unable to repent or repeat the cycle of time, unable to offer even a tender green shoot of this hope for this age of forfeiture. Our adversary that slocked the scale is an indiscernible germ that glides in the air, that strikes us unaware. Songs forewarning of disease and demise, leaving our bodies locked in ascetic extremis. We are stranded within the fault lines of our fundamental premise, within a serrated split in paradigm of what we consider to be the truths of our realities that have rapidly gone amiss, with the gilded fantasies of the last 2 centuries, democracy, modernization, decaying into debris in our hands. While the steel grey of today sags, interrupted by sparkles of soft champagne sunshine, the much-awaited monsoon splutters to arrive amidst spurts and squalls, but the Kachan winds shall blow and blow and blow within the lee of the southwestern hills. Government gazette upon gazette upon gazette extraordinaire of the monocratic state, of the inconsistent autocrat, of the kleptocratic state, of the patriotic bandits, of the statocratic state, of the arbitrary military, of the theocratic state, of the vacuous monks, of the oligarchic state of licensed sycophants, of the technocratic state of pseudo-professionals. Govern us now. Our rage spills crimson upon these tarred roads, but then will revolt alone be enough? Thirsting for the truth or any truth. Searching, researching, quantifying, qualifying, collaborating, confabulating, constructing, deconstructing, reconstructing, dismembering, googling, opining, truth-tabling, experimenting, replicating, predicating, validating, meditating, praying for a truth ceaselessly. Meanwhile, I sit bald, bald, a naked, wasted gecko in sheer extremis, while other browless geckos observe me audaciously. Dropping down at dusk, one by one, the white velvet arelier tinged celestial gold, its sacred fragrance tangled, mangled by the sandaled feet of the saffron priests, as there are no barefoot ones in the 21st century. The acute lenses of CCTV cams and drones observe us doggedly with minuscule eyes as we run hither and thither or dither and play the zither or the xylophone or the trombone, each to be different from one another, to be different from the sameness, to be different, to be different, to be different. Long after the has departed. Big pharma barracudas continue to be told and watch you, pledged, wedged to the machines and apparatus of healing care, of oxygen, nutrition, waste and wear, rasping for breath, gasping for death. Manike mage hite mage manike. While we women have been induced under lockdown to grind and grind and grind ourselves into bricks for household production, for sexual reproduction, until one day a woman's palm squashed the blood-sucking silver-black striped parasite within her family. What's the score, Machang? What's the score? Questions the old royalist from the old Atomian. Does the responsibility lie with the gory brothers of the southern tribe who have slaughtered the truth, rolled it up in a reed mat, incinerated it, buried its ashes in the backyard, and grown organic vegetables and sunflowers on its graveyard? This heat, this intolerable heat that saps us dry into the husks of our lives, while we hear the naked infants bawling for release. Show me a future other than in a mirage of an aircraft, radiating on the tarmac, about to depart. Yet it offers no relief, but an aberration of your hope. And still, the dead heaped down in extremis, forsaken, in the desolation of isolation. While others perform and post and mediatize their lives in endless revelation, self-revelation, in the sameness of brunch, in the sameness of brand, in the sameness of backdrop, rebellion with insentient uniformity. This insentient uniformity in difference, this uniformity, this uniformity. The eyes of these potato potentiates cannot see that in Ampare, in Grunewald, the variegated greenscapes of paddy will soon lie fallow, hill upon hill upon hill. The dark tea green leaves will wilt and wither into flakes, while the flaxen shoots of corn with the rotten red tomatoes will be devoured by riding maggots and spotted fungi due to their half-baked agrarian policy. Human rights. If you speak If you are Muslim or Tamil, if you speak human rights, they will efface you like Hijaz for months and months and months, or forever, like all those others, just because we brothers can. Should we then leave a garland of ivy greens and arum lilies to mould the demise of truth, who is survived by a poesy of reactivist opinions spun on the web and scattered by an array of media dominions? Will everyone, someone, anyone take responsibility for this Gotterdammer? Son's volition. We are photographed and posted, surveilled and identified. Our data filed and algorithmized, predicted and projected not only by Netflix. We are therefore the numericized objects, the digitalized subjects of the looming totalitarian state, of leeching global tech, of relentless capital thus. A man of white cloth with a chilly red sash, not to be confused with a Huracan shawl, is righteous in his unrighteous anger, unrighteous in his righteous anger. These digital influencers, exactly who are they? Masses that they reach, asks Auntie Mabel effectively. Can they reach out and give a hand to that single mother, sea level bee, starving and sweltering in the Kalugal quarry? I keep telling you, it's not the cancer that is killing me, it's the chemo. If it were ontologically possible to be that categorical, then certainly, though contestably, the human condition is a postmodern one, or perhaps even postmodern, when all is said and done, and apparently all has been said before, if not done. Oh, to be clever, 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 clever. Of course, the smartest of all might well be the humble mobile phone. Blemishes on the sun, followed by days and days of shadow, followed by crashing rain, falling on burnt orange soil, crumbling under your feet, lands sliding off hilltops and highlands, falling on creeks, cascades, canals, rivers, swamplands, overflowing on hamlets and households, suburbs and settlements, townships and the metropolis, portending the gloaming years of the Kali Yuga. Yes, you, listening to this discursive spiel, you who advocate these vain men and vacuous manifestos, constitutional amendments and system changes, oppositional unity and a third political force, or even an intergenerational revolution, when perhaps it's you and I who need to alter and sacrifice. Do we look forward and repeat the cycles of history, or do we look back to rupture them in futurity? from Kamala's mouth inadvertently. The fire ants insist on calling her out in phony offense, furiously, fretting, feeding, fighting, fuming over this little word in digital space. Utterly unforgiving of accidents and errors, predators of malintent, trolling her, evoking nocturnal terrors. Some think that the answer lies in political determination, in the red-hot, raw and radical, in the seasoned, sedate and seasoned, in the moderate, balanced and blended. Or should we look for a totally fresh, ontological solution? In the Sinhala Buddhist bowl of the land, their minds are burning, burning, burning like a funeral pyre, its scarlet glow gyrating higher and higher. But these days, we can only grasp at the possibilities of truth in the plural. No accuracy, no authority, no certainty, no inconsistency, no integrity, no legitimacy. And we continue to ask 69 of them, would they hunt the golden lion and eat his barbecued flesh during the famine to come? And do I still think that liberal democracy will save me? Even centuries ago, the Athenians knew that she was just a perverted myth, whether direct or representative or otherwise. But today, even she is gunned down by postmodern practice. So why are we ready to believe the conspiracy theories behind every bush and thicket? And then our turn will come. Our forlorn bodies will be trussed in plastic and cardboard, vacuum sealed like Norwegian smoked salmon, and shunted into the furnace before becoming shades of mauve and shadows of mulberry in the evening sky without right or adequate reason. Mindlessness of being, as opposed to the mindfulness of being. Is this intrinsic bipolarity another religious epistemology? And still, the northern woman, Sivaranjani, stands still by the roadside in Mullapevi. A hand on her hip, the sun on her head, a glint in her nostril, awaiting the arrival of transitional justice by the SLTB bus. But he never comes. Meanwhile, lifetimes have passed in the limpid eyes of Tamil Sahodari, even though she is only 70 years of age. Of course, the truth may never be known, but all hail the new truths of the era. Affronts, intrigues, inanities, litanies, banalities, home truths, homilies, totalities, fatalities, celebrities, fake news, memes, remedies, parodies, indiscriminate generalities. While others say that the enraged generations though awoken to virtue, have gone west by west without an address. The unending glare of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, turn to days, turn to weeks, turn to months, its dense yellow underbelly, dank and bloated, hunkers over Colombo, smothers the pitiless lines of pitiless people awaiting. Once you hear it recapped again and again and again. Once you see it posted again and again and again, not only by the Ministry of Public Enlightenment, but by the motley civets of public activism, don't worry, it becomes the truth. I watch the ageless wine scaling a balcony widely, its lime green leaves arid to the touch, like sandpaper, its bone-colored stems gnarled and grasping like skeletal fingers. Yet the violet sprigs of the Queen's wreath have not bloomed for many decades. But still, it keeps me nourished during these months of consuming cancer, showing me life as I've never seen before. One law for all, another law for others, all laws for one, no laws for some. And then finally, will you be done? Or will it all come undone? In extremis then, our existences, our actualities, our practicalities, our inevitabilities, our veracities, our realities. Foreshadowing the Tropic of Anarchy, we echo the red offshoots. Burn them, burn them, burn them out, the 225. Of course, they are not you or I, and certainly not you or RW. Don't get me wrong, they are not Muslims or Tamils, this new other that we now hate and can justifiably blame and castrate. How or when then will the rage of this age abate? definitively blame or absolve? Can we truly reason who or why or how? Can we actually trace cause and effect or action or reaction to the politicization of religion, to the religionization of commodities, to the commodification of products, to the production of technology, to the technologization of industry, to the industrialization of the globe, to the globalization of multinationals, to the multinationalization of capitalism, to the capitalization of democracy, to the democratization of the digital, to the digitalization of politics, to the politicization of religion. While our religious dignitaries pronounce sadhu, 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 amen, inshallah, om shanti, shanti, shanti. As you can see, ultimately, there is no sense in the common, nor any commonality in sense, only a growing consensus for utter tendentious nonsense. You keep telling me you want hope. Hope, hope. Please give me hope. So was it remiss of me to think that there was hope in the proverbial East? In the East, is that hope we see? Is that hope we? Is that hope? Is that not? Perhaps from these throes of nihilism, the aged, discouraged sage Ayesha can salvage some pearls of irresidence that could transcend our existence. Even then, eventually, our time will sculpt off to the naked courageous of the Singharaja to heave and heave and heave. Birthing in extremis yet another premise of a thesis, antithesis, synthesis, or another blood-stained cosmic metamorphosis. Or perhaps a butterfly fluttering to materialize from a chrysalis, all of which will not shackle us, as finally we will be free, yet mercifully not there to see. Thank you very much.